The quality and all the nuance gets lost when you rely on AI, and you do not you lose that human spark and that human touch, that relatability. It becomes more generic, more vague, more just flat when you're overly reliant on AI.
But some people just view copy as messy, dirty, because it's just so much to read and they just want clean and clear space and all that. But it doesn't work as well as getting that balance right of a strategic design that's beautiful. And the other takeaway is really, if you do have a high ticket item, your brand must match that price point. And if you think about how many people put their thought power into creating this website, from their team to your team to our team, there's probably like 30 people that had input to make it what it is.
Takes a village. Hello and welcome to Marketing Speak. I'm your host, Stephan Spencer. It is my pleasure to have Greg Merrilees, founder of Studio One Design, back on the show for yet another awesome case study, behind the scenes website redesign teardown. We're going to look at Quintessa. MyQuintessa.com is a cosmetic surgery center that is really high end. It's mostly based in Wisconsin, and they have some really like high-end services and high-end surgeons. It's really a great brand and organization, but with not a great web presence until Studio One and Net Concepts got involved. So you'll see the before and after. I mean, it was okay, but it is light years ahead now that the redesign is complete. So we're going to walk through this. Greg is the founder of Studio One Design. He's been designing beautiful, high-converting websites for well over a decade. He's been working with me on many websites for clients, for myself, for my wife, Orion, for also probably a decade. And he's my secret weapon. I keep touting him on, if you've heard me introduce him before, I always say he's my secret weapon because he really makes a huge difference in my clients' businesses. And you're going to hear another example of that here with Quintessa. Greg, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me, Stephan. It's always a pleasure to be here. And I'm wearing my uniform, black t-shirt.
Yes. You're like Mark Zuckerberg.
Exactly. It's just so much easier to pick one choice out of the cupboard, black t-shirt.
Yes. That lowers cognitive load, and then you can bring even more brain power to these case study episodes. All right, so let's talk about kind of the problem, the target market, and what Quintessa was trying to achieve by engaging both of our companies.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, they, from memory, like they spent a lot on advertising initially, and their previous website, which I'm just going to bring up now, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see what it used to look like. This is on the Wayback Machine. And they just weren't generating enough, leads from their ad spend, and they were spending, a fortune on ads. So this is what their homepage used to look like. And so some of the problems that they mentioned when we did the onboarding call with them was obviously the ad spend wasn't working. The quality of leads as well wasn't there. And look, this is a beautiful, clean looking website. And it's just a classic case of, if you try to be too clean and be like Apple, like most people want to be, and if you don't have the authority level of Apple, then you're leaving money on the table because there's not enough clarity and a point of difference as to why they should choose you over your competitors. So one thing we like.
Yeah, and there's no social proof above the fold either, so I don't see that they came pre-selected. Celebrities worked with, or got services from them. They've been featured in various media outlets. None of that is present here. I have to dig for it.
Exactly. And it's not really enough clarity about what they do exactly. And they're just using stock imagery. And that was another big problem. And we'll show you what their competitors do as well. Now, in fairness, this is on the Wayback Machine, so it does have some images missing. So it didn't look as bad as as it's showing here. However, this was the structure of their web page, and that was pretty much it, right? And so then, if we have a look at, oh yeah, sorry, they had this pop up that popped up all the time, no matter which page you were on. It was always popping up, multiple times. Every time you visit a new page, this exit pop would pop up. It wasn't even exit pop. I think it popped up like 5 seconds after you land on a page. So that's just very annoying for people. So if you do have a pop up, make sure you don't annoy your visitors and have it pop up every page. We generally have one rule, which is make sure it pops up once per day per visitor. Okay, so it just won't annoy.
And if you have a timed pop-up, switch it to exit intent.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Cool. All right. So, yeah, basically, this is what they had. And one thing we do as well is we review their competitors. Okay. So, we'll just have a quick look at their competitors that they sent to us at the time. So, this is one. I'm not going to call out their brand name, but yeah, once again, it's kind of a lot of stock imagery, not much different to their old website in a way. And then, they have a real photo of their team up here, which I think is great, but it's obviously very busy and a lot of text over it, kind of pointless. But yeah, this is another competitor. This is just way too busy. They have a video background, which kills conversions. And then they have this pop up here, which I didn't even realize it was a pop up. When you look at it, it doesn't feel like it's a pop up. It just feels like a part of a busy design. So, anyway, close that. It's not as busy. It's still ugly. But once again, very much just stock imagery, right? Oh, this is just their like Instagram feed. But this is stock imagery all throughout this as well. So if we think about how to position our client differently to the competitors, we just need to address all of those issues that we see from the competitors. So one, it needs better copy. Two, it needs less stock imagery. And three, it needs to have a beautiful high class feel, because obviously we're talking here about doing surgical and non-surgical solutions for cosmetic improvements on people, right? And might not just be for vanity, might be for scarring. It could be for a range of issues and different body parts. So, it's certainly a very relevant problem to a lot of people out there, and people are prepared to pay a lot of money for it. So that's probably why they went with this clean look initially, but it didn't have enough clarity and didn't really attract the right people. Because if you think about like any business out there, any service business especially, you do business with people. And when you just see stock, it's like, well, who am I dealing with, and why should I choose you over your competitors? And there's none of that when you first land on the page. So what were your thoughts, Stephan?
Yeah, so remarkability is really critical. Is this worthy of remark? And it wasn't. It was too similar to pretty much every cookie cutter cosmetic and plastic surgery website out there. They're very undifferentiated from each other. They all kind of have all the same hallmarks of the information presented, how it was presented. It just didn't stand out. It wasn't memorable. It wasn't remarkable. And I believe now with the redesign, it is remarkable. It does stand out. It does differentiate them and put them in a whole other league. So yeah, great job on the redesign.
Thank you. All right. Well, let's flip to that now. We'll just sort of talk through the key differences. So, obviously, we wanted to put the real people, I guess, like their competitors did, and one of them, but we just made obviously a much better design. But if you look at the color palette, the font choice, the font pairing, the social proof, the credibility logos as seen on, the Morning Blend and ABC and Vogue, Cosmopolitan, and the impact metrics here. 25 years of experience and all these other impact metrics that are
500 5-star reviews on Google. Yeah, that's good stuff.
It's good stuff. Yeah. And by the way, this is just the design, and if we just show you the live web page, it's just a little bit different because they've updated their photos and they added a little bit too much copy, I believe, above the fold. That's why I've just shown you our design. This is what it used to look like. We're just talking, a few months ago, but yeah, they've added more copy and changed a photo. And I guess that's a problem that most service businesses face when you do have a team and you put your team photo on. If people leave, you have to change a photo. And that's probably what's happened here, going down from 4 people down to 3.
So let's talk a bit about the copy above the fold there, because from an SEO standpoint, it's good to have more copy typically. When it's prominently positioned, then Google gives it more credit. If it's way down near the footer, then Google gives it less credit. But there's a downside, and from a design and a usability perspective, especially on mobile, what was that downside?
Yeah, exactly. So I get why you do want to put a lot of copy on the page, because you've got a lot to say, right? And you want to, obviously do what Stephan said and appeal to Google. Even, obviously AI search as well can pick up a lot of copy. But the problem is that people, like, two things. It's a lot of cognitive load. So people may not want to, at this point, they just care about what's in it for them. Why should I trust you, right? So you've got a benefit driven headline. A little bit of copy would have been enough, right? But they've added more. Now, when you view this on a mobile device as well, if the copy doesn't change, it stays as is, it takes up the whole first screen on the mobile device. So that's a big problem, because it won't look beautiful. And obviously, a lot of the time, people will discover you first on mobile before they go to your desktop view of your website. So yeah, you want to make sure that mobile experience does look amazing. I'll just do a quick preview here.
Yeah, especially when we're talking about an industry like plastic surgery, cosmetic surgery, you want it to look beautiful because that's a reflection of the beauty of the brand and of the outcome by working with them.
Yeah, and it's pushed all the trust and credibility below the fold as well. So you can see it here on a wider mobile device, but generally speaking, it's going to be this first one, which is like an iPhone 14, which is quite popular.
And there are no visual elements there. There's no pictures of, yeah, that's a problem. It's just text.
Exactly. So, yeah, that to us is not good. And even just the way this is, ended up on mobile, you can't see those logos. So I think we need to have a chat with them, Stephen, because when they've changed images, they've probably messed up the what we intended there. But cool. All right. So let's just scroll through the homepage. We'll talk about the top nav as well. We've kind of tidied that up a little bit from what they had. And I do believe there's one thing missing, and that is there's two things really. The reviews and testimonials. As Stephan said, they have 500 5-star reviews on Google. That's amazing. So we want to show a page that's dedicated to social proof and make it easier for people to get to. So they do have one, but it's hidden in the About page drop down. And personally, and Stephan, I think, agrees that that should be viewed in the top nav. And then the other thing, Stephan, missing from the top nav is what?
Yeah, so the blog, which I wouldn't call blog, because for a high-end brand like Quintessa, I would say articles or resources or insights would be more kind of high-end sounding. But you need that authority status and say, hey, we write really great authoritative content pieces, and go have a look at our learning center or whatever you want to, whatever they end up calling it. But hiding it under About is not intuitive. No one's going to think, gosh, I wonder if they have an article section or a blog section. Perhaps that's under About. It's never placed under About. So that's something I would not leave hidden. It's in the footer, but that's a very secondary place to look. Most people do not go look in the footer for places to click on go deeper into the site. Yeah.
Exactly. Couldn't agree more. A lot of little tip here as well. You see this little arrow in the bottom corner. That's just a quick, easy thing for people to press to get to the top of the page. A lot of website designers miss that. And it's really annoying having to manually scroll all the way to the top of the page. But yeah. All right. And the other thing I wanted to mention was their call to action. There's a couple of problems with that. So one is it says start your journey. And it's been proven that the majority of time, button copy, if you put the word my in button copy, it converts better than the word your, because it's the first person clicking that button. So they want to start my journey, So yeah, that's a little tip.
They're thinking those words that call to action. They're actually kind of repeating that in their head, even if they're not saying it in their head. They're thinking it. So start my journey or get my free thing is much more aligned with the action that they're going to take than get your free thing.
Exactly. And if you press that, it just took people to the generic contact page. This obviously might take a while because it's on the Wayback Machine. But yeah, it just takes people to a general contact page. And so that's a problem because you have no idea where that person came from. You have no idea, what to fix, what to track, etc. And by the way, if they're sending paid traffic and it just takes people from the call to action to the contact page, then you don't even know how your paid traffic's performing. So generally speaking, you want to take people to a dedicated page and you want to be able to track where they came from as well. So that,
What do you think of all these required fields? That's a lot of required fields.
it is, yeah. I mean, and it's quite ugly the way it's all laid out. I'm not sure if you need to ask for the date of birth, when people first reach out, but they have first name, last name, date of birth, email, phone, location, and then I'm looking for the service drop down, and then a whole bunch of comment.
The only things that are not required are the location you're interested in and the comments. Everything else is a required field, and that makes it quite a hoop for for the visitor to jump through in order to contact the company. I think that's a problem, and we did raise that with the client, and then they reduced the number of required fields. They still needed some required information, but they reduced that and also added some more uh, comfort elements and things on the page based on my advice and on yours. So that was good.
Does that pop up again? Yeah, exactly. So if we'll just go to that now. So this here we had first name, last name, date of birth, email, phone. I'm looking for. I think that
Oh, actually, so they put those back in as required fields. So
exactly. Yeah,
yeah, so they're all required now again. But you'll notice there's more kind of trust building and comfort type elements on this page. So it feels like I'm communicating with people, not just submitting a form into the ether.
exactly. Yeah, and we have a map. We have all the locations on the page as well underneath all that. But yeah, basically, it's all
And that's a really classy look, by the way. I really like how you use the duotone version of the Google Map and embedded it in a way that it didn't look uh, so I don't know, like a widgety. It feels elegant and integrated into the design. Nice job.
Thank you. Yeah, it feels more on brand. Absolutely. Yeah. Cool. So let's go through the homepage. You'll notice these little impact metrics do animate when you first land on the page. And that's because we do want to draw a bit of attention to them because it's very important for building trust. And then obviously we just want to segment people off to the right procedure based on their intent. And then we have more obviously sections on the page that talk about challenges. We've got some before and afters. And there's a bit of a gallery in there as well. We've got some real stories, testimonials, links off to the to all of the reviews, and all this stuff's good for copy. But generally speaking, it's good for building trust in the brand as well. Okay, and then we've just sort of an overview of the three different areas like face, body, and wellness. That they'll all click through to those different sections. Now they added this section here, which is I think it says Quintessa is the proud sponsor of Natalie Boyd in the Petite USA pageant 2025. And that's probably really good for them. But I wonder personally, we didn't design this section. What we had instead was a section which had them on the Morning Blend TV show. And to me, that was a better authority boosting piece than what they've turned it into. Now, for me, this is more about what's in it for the consumer. Will they connect with this? I believe they will, compared to having this Quintessa is a sponsor of a petite pageant. So, and it doesn't feel on brand either. So anyway, that's just our.
Yeah, it kind of clashes with the color scheme and the classy style of the rest of the page.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a client choice, and that's fine.
And I believe it's there just temporarily. It's just part of a sponsorship time period, and then they'll take it off. But yeah, the social proof element that you showed of the Morning Blend show, that's more compelling, I think.
Yeah, totally. Yep. And then, yeah, there's just more authority boost in sections on the page, and, why choose us. And yeah, it's good to put more content on the homepage rather than less, like they used to have and like their competitors have, because people need convincing, and they need, especially for this, they need a reason to choose you. Why should I choose you? And yeah, all this stuff just screams authority, but also it's not just we are good, it's about what's in it for them. And messages like you deserve to feel confident and beautiful, we've really highlighted that. It just animates going across the page there. And yeah, and
Yeah, and so my team worked on the copy, and we helped with brand script and the whole StoryBrand methodology and everything. So an example for the old messaging, the old style was a lot of technical procedure descriptions. It sounded like medical textbooks, where our new messaging was like, at Quintessa, we believe beauty is personal, and so is your journey. That's why we blend cutting edge aesthetic treatments with heartfelt, individualized care. It's not stuffed with keywords, so it just feels like it's SEO copy and not meant for human consumption. It builds comfort, it builds confidence, it builds that rapport and relatedness, and it helps to move them down the buyer journey rather than feeling overly clinical or technical.
exactly. And so it's a benefit of, yeah, what's in it for them, authority boosting, and good for search engines as well. Yeah, so that's the homepage. The top nav as well, like we say, yeah, we tidied that up a little bit, but then they've made a few little changes. And then let's go to, let's say, the about page and what it used to look like. So this is their about page before we redesigned it. And it's just got, two, like the owner, and then I think, I'm not sure if it's a partner or just another surgeon, but that was it for the about page. And in this case, you're dealing with people, so you want to put a lot more effort into the about page. And so what?
Especially when you're dealing with 5 locations, you have doctors in each location. It's not sufficient to just show your top 2 doctors.
Yes, exactly. So we put the lead team at the top, and then even all this awesome copy that your team did, Stephan. I think it's fantastic. It's not just meet the team. It's like our board certified plastic surgeons, blah blah blah, and then the next part of it, transforming lives at Quintessa, our exceptional team, and then we have all of their exceptional team, and it's everybody. There's like 40 or 50 people on this page. So yeah, I think that's just showing that there's a full team, not just 2 experts. I think that's cool. But then we do have an individual bio page as well. This is what the individual bio page used to look like. And there's not a lot of content on there for trust building. And so,
And this is of the owner, Dr. Campbell. So that doesn't have the kind of trademarks of a really good about page in the old version, like a timeline with milestones and like a hero's journey and all that. Just a lot of text that's just kind of a wall of text for people to kind of mire through, and they're probably not going to read it. They're just going to quickly scan it on the old version.
exactly, yeah. So the new version, yeah, it's just way better designed visually, but also like we've got other sections throughout this that talk about his expertise. It looks like there's a logo missing. His awards and accreditations. Got a nice video of him here, and then his journey. He's obviously the business owner, so yeah, we're just showing his journey, what led him, and any milestones on his journey that led him to building this business to help everybody. So yeah, that's the about page now. And then obviously for everybody else, we just do a standard about page, which has all of their credentials and things like that, and a little bit of personal connection, family photos, etc. But we don't need to do the full timeline. But it starts off looking very similar at the top of the page.
Right. Because with the owner or the face for the brand, having that timeline with the milestones, the hero's journey, when we talked about Yosha Law Firm, we talked about the tribute wall, and the founder, who's now pretty much retired of that firm, really honoring him and putting up something that makes people feel warm and fuzzy about the firm, even if that person is no longer involved day to day. It just really makes you feel like you want to work with those people. And yeah, that's something that you've been doing for a long time now. I probably at least 8 years, I think. The timelines on about pages.
Yeah, it's been quite a while. And yeah, I mean, I absolutely recommend it to everybody because it does humanize your brand and people can see in a non boring way the journey that you've taken to get to where you are now. And they really connect with that. So it's very important. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're more likely to get links, deep links directly to that about page then. And thus, you as the business owner, the founder, the CEO, the face to the brand, when people search for your name in Google, you're more likely to have that page show up at the top rather than maybe your LinkedIn page or something because it's so much more meaty and content rich.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good point. Okay, and then this is their services page of what it used to look like before, which it's kind of a little bit messy looking, and yeah, it's not very well organized. So there's that pop up again. And so what we did was we segmented it into like there's two areas. There's surgical, and this is the surgical page. So we just put all the surgical things on one page because if you have them all on one page, it's kind of a little bit confusing and overwhelming. So we just split it into doing a surgical index page, and then we've got these nice tabs where you can just view one of the categories essentially. And then obviously you can click through to the individual service as well, but it's just better organized rather than it just being all on one page. Is it kind of like a big mess, really?
Well, it's overwhelming too. That's a lot of choices to like mire through or wade through. And here with all this imagery and it's all consistently kind of set up in a grid with the same dimensions and same style and so forth. So now it's a lot easier to quickly go to the kind of treatment or surgery that you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. So it just has a very nice visual. And yeah, I guess they did not have a visual at all. It just had two stock images for the categories. But yeah, good point. Okay, so then we go into the individual service page. So this is
And by the way, with those two previous visuals that were displayed, they were not just stock, they did not convey that one was surgical and the other was non-surgical. Yeah, there was a label underneath, but they didn't look different from each other. Like the non-surgical didn't look any more surgical or non-surgical than the surgical one. They just looked like random stock photos.
they do. They do. Anyway, yeah. Good point. So yeah, that's why it just made it more descriptive. Now they didn't provide us with actual photos, and I think that's fair enough because it's patient's privacy. So we did use stock, but they're very descriptive. It shows exactly what you get.
Yeah, they've got procedures in process or like being assessed. The patient, getting a medical glove on them or having an injection put into them. It feels like, okay, I understand what's being done here. This one's relating to the face, this one's related to the eyelids, and this one's the chin or whatever. Okay, I get it. And I don't have to read all the text to quickly jump to the section that's probably related to the chin.
Exactly. Yeah, because people are quite visual, and pictures tell 1,000 words. Yeah. So this was their individual service page. So in this case, it's for a brow lift. And what we generally do when we design websites, we just design each. If you have a range of services, we design one of those services, and then once it's approved, it's a template for the rest of the services. And the reason we do that is so that there's a consistency throughout the page, because when people are browsing through every page, and they're deciding which service is right for them, we just want all of the elements to be in the same place for that sort of, less cognitive load reason. And they get to understand the pattern of the page for each of the services. So yeah, it's pretty important to keep things consistent rather than completely custom for all pages. But yeah, so basically it's what the page used to look like. It's not terrible. It's got some really good information on it. And so yeah, some of this is quite important for the patient. So we did end up keeping a lot of this information, but we just redesigned it with a nicer look and feel. I think they've added more copy to this above the fold section too, Stephan, because it didn't look off balance and push the call to action below the fold like it has now. But anyway, pretend there's not so much copy and the call to action's up here. But yeah, yeah, definitely, because we would not have designed it with pushing that so far down. But yeah, anyway, look, I don't know, maybe if the client's watching this, I would suggest we just do half the copy up here and then we put another little bit of copy underneath, and we just make it separate so that it doesn't push the call to action below the fold and push the impact metrics below the fold.
Yeah, it does look off balance with the image on the right-hand side to have so much text, and it's not lined up. So the headline is way up at the top. There's no image balancing on the right-hand side. The image shows up like a third of the way down the page once you get into the paragraph copy.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, hopefully the client can fix that up. But yeah, basically, and yeah, I would say this is a similar content to what they had previously. Obviously, the client provides all the imagery for each of the services. We just create the template essentially. But yeah, this is just a much better look and feel using the same content that they had before, and then obviously adding in extra bits like social proof and FAQs and things like that. But and locations and yeah, the call to action throughout. But yeah, Stephan, I think FAQs, you can talk to that.
Yeah. So we're big fans of having FAQs, frequently asked questions, on the bottom of services pages. So if somebody lands on a service page from a Google search, there's not just compelling content that squashes objections, they're right on the page with all the FAQs, but also it's meaty content for not just Google, but also the other LLMs that are out there, like ChatGPT. This is great chunks of content that can be excerpted and used in the outputs from the LLMs, including Gemini, Google's AI mode, and not just ChatGPT. Of course, there's Claude, there's Grok, there's uh, Manus and DeepSeek, and there's a lot of them out there. So we want to feed those LLMs with good passages, good chunks of text that directly and succinctly answer questions. So that's why that's there. But scroll up a bit. You passed a section that I want to highlight that is really cool. Keep going up a bit. It's the steps, the 3 steps. Go up a bit more. Our 3-step process. So what is this? This is actually, this idea comes from Donald Miller and the StoryBrand structure, building a StoryBrand. And it's the process plan. 3 steps, never fewer than 3, could be 4, could be 5, certainly no more than 5. That feels overwhelming. And this simple process, this laid out plan of here's how to get started, here's how to get the result that you're after, makes it super simple and straightforward to work with that organization, whatever it is, in this case, Quintessa. So step 1 is prepare for the brow lift. Step 2 is the post-surgery recovery, and step 3 is the post-operative results. These are the steps for the patient, the prospect, not what Quintessa is going to do behind the scenes. You can do it in different ways, like when when I worked with Border Buddy and we came up with the process plan. It was a simple three-step process to onboard the client. It wasn't the whole process of getting the item shipped across the border, the country border. There was more involved to it, but the simple three-step process for Border Buddy was for getting your shipment handed off to Border Buddy so that they handle the rest of it and make all the headache go away and all the paperwork.
I love that. And also, you'll notice there's a dark background behind these three steps, but directly behind the text of the three steps is white background, black text. And that's because of readability. But just be careful. I see a lot of websites that do have white text on dark background. It's very hard to read. It won't pass the compliance tests. And you have to be compliant these days for people with disabilities. So it's just something to be aware of. But it's also harder to read, especially if you're outdoors on a sunny day. Trying to read white text on a dark background is almost, very hard. It makes it harder. So just be wary of that. Okay. You can use some white text on dark backgrounds, but when it's a lot, just try and keep it on a light background instead, and have high contrast and a decent font size as well, for people over 40. Yeah. Cool. All right. So that's the individual, page. They also had a gallery page, which I think, maybe it's from the Wayback Machine, not just.
Yeah, it's not formatted quite right because I think some of the CSS didn't load. But it definitely was an up leveling of the photo gallery to get the redesign. It's amazing. I love how you guys did it with just really classy look and feel. Everything very consistent between the different before and afters. It was much more usable and I think compelling.
Absolutely. And I think as well, like there's a lot on here, but having it segmented from the surgeon as well, and then you can dive deeper into that surgeon's individual procedure, if you like, from facelift, eye lift, etc. So just it's a good way to, rather than just display everything in one hit, you just want to show exactly right. If somebody is on this website and they're interested in a particular surgeon, a particular location, and a particular procedure, then let's show those individual before and afters, because that's what they're looking for. It's like, will they? And you'll see there's diversity as well, with the age and ethnicities in this. So it's really clever to show that, rather than just showing all the same age, and all the same sort of problems. So it's very clever the way this is all done. So there's a lot of thought that's gone into it from the client, as well as just a smart, logical layout. Yeah. Cool. All right. So as you can see, there's a lot of thought that goes into a website. I'm sure you can get a website these days built with AI and get it done in 5 minutes, but are they going to put this much thought and attention into it? And what happens to 1,000-page website, Stephan, if you replace that with an AI website? Just food for thought. Don't get me wrong, they're coming a long way, but yeah.
The quality and the all the nuance gets lost when you rely on AI and you do not you lose that human spark and that human touch, that relatability. It becomes more generic, more vague, more I don't know, just flat when you're overly reliant on AI. Of course, you can use it for brainstorming, for headlines, for checking the copy for grammar errors and so forth. But to have it draft your pages and then make just quick tweaks and then publish it, uh, you lose the soul of your business, and people don't connect with that. Then they don't connect with you. So be wary, be mindful about your usage of AI. It's a powerful tool, but it is not just a replacement for your copy team or your marketing department. It is a tool, an augmentation, a force multiplier for your marketing team.
Couldn't agree more. And if you think about how many people put their thought power into creating this website, from their team to your team to our team, there's probably like 30 people that had input to make it what it is, you know? So yeah, it takes a team to do an amazing website.
Takes a village. I don't know if you've heard that quote over there in Australia, but that's a US thing.
Yes, we have. It takes a village. Yep. And speaking of takes a village, we're now going to look at their location pages. So they have 5 locations, and this is the before. So this is what their page used to look like, where they literally just have images and text down the left-hand side. Obviously, there's a couple of images missing because it's on the Wayback Machine. It doesn't produce everything. But so that's what it used to look like. It had nothing else on the page, maybe just the stuff at the bottom. But the point is, this is what it looks like now. I should just scroll to the top. So 5 convenient locations across Wisconsin, and then it has an image, it has the text, it has the address, phone number, and a clickable link. Then the other thing that most people get wrong is you'll notice here, as I hover over the image, it changes so that it looks like it's clickable, and it is clickable. And you'll find that a lot of people don't have images clickable. Now, if you look at heat maps when you do conversion optimization or user testing, you'll see that people often click on images. They click on images more than text links. So really, you'll know because you'll see on heat maps, people rage clicking. And yeah, Stephan, I know you.
Yeah, well, why don't you explain what a rage click is for our listener who isn't familiar with the term?
Sure. So when you do conversion optimization, you look at heat maps, you look at user testing, and it's people that are clicking on images, and you'll see it in heat maps. It has all these little dots all over it. So it means that people are literally clicking, and usually they just go tap, 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 because they think the first click didn't work, so they want to click again and again. And yeah, it's called rage clicking, where they click more than once. So the beauty of looking at heat maps is that it'll tell you what should be clickable, and it's always images. They should always be clickable. Yeah. So that's rage clicking. Yeah.
Now, so speaking of heat maps, there are multiple softwares that you could use to analyze a web page or website to see where people are clicking, how they're interacting with the page, and like an image on the page that's all red in an area, that's where a lot of clicks are happening. What sort of software do you recommend? There are many choices out there for heat mapping analysis for either user experience improvement or for conversion optimization. What do you use?
Look, these days we use Microsoft Clarity because it is free, right? And it has heat maps, it has videos of people using your website. It also has, excuse me, it also has AI built into it. So it gives you a little bit of a summary of each page. It's really helpful. But apart from that, there's Hotjar, there's Crazy Egg, there's a whole bunch of them actually. But yeah, I would say, they're all good in that and they're all unique in their own way. But yeah, for us these days, Microsoft Clarity does 80% of the paid tools, and it's free.
Yeah. And you used to use Hotjar.
We did indeed, yeah, and I love it. And we still have it on various client websites. But yeah, because that will allow you to do user polls and surveys and all sorts of things specific for each individual page, and it has a whole bunch of other little features that are well worth it if you're serious about conversion optimization. But yeah, Microsoft Clarity does 80% of all the other paid tools, so I think it's really cool. But then there's usertesting.com, which is literally a service where they have a whole range of users that you pay them as a service, and they'll put users on your website to give you feedback. And that's really cool because you can hear what they're thinking as well, because they'll actually talk through each page. You just give them a goal and they'll see if they can achieve it. So yeah, usertesting.com is really good for conversion optimization as well. Cool. All right. So that's our what we call a locations index page. And then you click on the individual location, and this is what ours looks like now. I'll explain that in a minute, but then if we go back to the before, this is what it used to look like before, and it's got stock images. It's kind of got a messy nav like on their services page. It's just too confusing. It doesn't show images. They got open hours, which is good. They got interactive map, which is not displaying, but I think that's a great feature. And they've got a little bit about us and the surgeons, etc. So I think that's not too bad as far as the type of content to put on there. And so what we do is, so above the top of the page, which has some good copy there, good for SEO, image of the place, and then we have like all their services, but in categories. It's kind of like a mini version of their services page, but it's really easy for people just to flip through the tabs and see the right treatment for them, because not all locations have the same treatment across every location. So we have surgical, and then we have another section for non-surgical.
Yeah. And there are images now. They're small images instead of just having a huge list of text links to all the services relevant to that location.
Exactly. So you might remember us talking about this on the services page, and this is just like a mini version of the services page, just to make it really easy. But yeah, and then we have the open hours, and then we have an interactive map, and then just other reasons. A little bit of copy about, I think, this is about their location and, why choose us, and then social proof. The other page was missing social proof, and then just end with a call to action to start their journey. So yeah, that's our version.
And you have to have social proof on a page like this, because this could be the first page that a visitor comes to from a Google search. You do some good SEO, and then the location page shows up, or a location plus service page, which we've talked about on previous case studies. So yeah.
Yeah, very powerful. Yeah. So I would say, just in general, put social proof on every single page. All right. So just a few pages remaining to show you some before and afters. And I do love the Wayback Machine, because we didn't screenshot every page. And yeah, this is just really handy, this tool, which is at web.archive.org. And you can bring up any website in history.
Yeah, even from the 90s, some sites, you could see what netconcepts.com looked like in 1997. It was actually pretty cutting edge for back in the day.
Amazing. I'll check it out later. I haven't seen that yet. Cool. All right. So this is their blog index page. Probably just the same layout as a locations page. Probably just use the template. And then ours is way more organized, way more beautiful. Has a lot more on the page. And just a little tip that we got from Stephan is, instead of just, how a lot of blogs, you might have 1,000 blogs or 100, whatever it is, and they just have a load more button. There's no SEO value in that, is there, Stephan? And this is, just talk through this.
Well, it is problematic, because you're hiding those other pages, or those other teaser bits about each blog post, and it doesn't really count for SEO. It's discounted by Google because it doesn't load by default. And now by pagination on page 2, you'll have all that displayed. Page 3, you'll have all that displayed that's relevant, that you want to have counted towards your SEO.
Love it. Yeah. Great little tip. Small thing, but small thing that gets big results. So yeah. And we're just scrolling to the top again, and now just showing that what we're trying to do here is categorize their blog posts to relate back to their 3 main areas for their services. So I think that's really smart. And if you think about, any business type, you may have, multiple target markets or multiple areas of service. And if you can just tie your blog back to that, the beauty of that is people will find a blog post related to that area. And then what do you know? You're the next logical choice for that service, essentially. So yeah, I really love that. For also making it easy for people to find what they're looking for, rather than just having a big stream of blogs. Yep. And then we have the blog post page. And so actually, I'll show you what that looked like before. Okay, so there's not a lot of conversion on this page, as far as there's no sticky call to action. They got a sticky top nav, which is great, but there's no sidebar, there's no free offer, there's no social proof, there's nothing, right? It's just a wall of text with nothing either side. And so yeah, what we do is we just
So this is important, because again, we have people coming in from Google searches directly to blog posts that have been optimized to rank. And if that's the first impression for the website, that's not a great first impression. There's the social proof is missing, the irresistible offer is missing, the key takeaways or summary of the article. That's going to be really good for LLMs and getting your passages into ChatGPT and so forth to be used as part of output from those LLMs. Like this is important. You gotta see to those details.
Absolutely. And I find as well, like it's so helpful for people. And that's probably why, blogs that are helpful for people, key takeaways and, just organizing it properly with little chunks of copy and big images and just breaking it up so it's easier on the eye and more visually pleasing, more engaging for people. I think you'll find it's better for people. And that's probably why LLMs and Google, favor these type of blog layouts. Yeah. It's a little bit more user friendly. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. And then we have a call to action. We have, you may also like, because obviously you want people to click through to another page. Then we have some social proof. And then we have the main call to action to start their journey, essentially, and then their locations. So, yeah, it's very strategic with this type of layout, with this structure from top to bottom.
Yeah, so there are plugins for having those related posts or other relevant articles displayed at the bottom or somewhere on the page. One called YARP, yet another related posts plugin for WordPress. There are a bunch of these out there, so you can um, get this functionality pretty sophisticated with a free plugin or a freemium plugin, and not just have it be the same exact three posts at the bottom of every single blog post, because sometimes those are very unrelated to each other. The topic that you were writing about, and then the supposedly related posts, if they're not actually related, well, you're not doing as good of a job as you could.
Yep. Spot on. Yeah. Okay, cool. And so, yeah, with plugins like that, you can control what you see at the bottom of every individual post if you want to go that granular. Yeah. All right. And then another really good page to put on any website is a careers page, but this is what their careers page used to look like. That's pretty much it, which is also a bit of a problem because it's a careers page. The call to action on the careers page is to request a consult. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. So our careers page, we have like real images of their real team. We have be part of our qualified team, join highly qualified team to make a difference in the world of medical aesthetics, blah, 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 all the good stuff. Apply to join our team, and that will anchor link down the page. And then they have, just a little bit of their USP, transforming lives through beauty, our vision, a video there as seen on, their main sort of tagline, their values, their, sort of what's, their point of difference. What else? Yeah, big section on their mission, team photos everywhere, and then meet the lead team. Some member testimonials as well, from their team, which I think is pretty cool. And then their locations, and then a call to action at the end of the page that asks, has a form for them to fill out to apply to join the team. So I think that's, a much better approach. The beauty of this is,
so that form is not a pop-up. If you click at the top to apply to join the team, that button takes you down to this section of the page where the form is, rather than having a pop-up. So why would you not do a pop-up or a modal box and anchor link down to the form at the bottom?
great question. So the reason we do that is because we want people to know that, oh, they've just skipped all this valuable information. If they don't see all this stuff and they just press apply, they're missing out on the core values and what's unique about this business to join. And so we want to show them by pressing this button, anchor linking down the page, that, oh, whoops, okay, I missed a whole lot of valuable stuff. So they just may not know that all this stuff is below the fold. We know it's there, but they may not. So we're just going to make sure they're going to see it. That's the reason for doing that. Yeah. The beauty of a careers page designed properly with the values and the mission and, why choose us and photos of the team, it does two things. It'll attract better members to your team, but also if prospects that are thinking of hiring your services see this careers page, it's like a double benefit because they think, oh, wow, these guys put a lot of effort into attracting the best people to join their team. So they realize that there's going to be good people that work there. So yeah, it's just another reason for them to choose your service. So it's pretty clever. And then, just a couple of pages that we always put on a website, which would be the patient reviews page. We talked before about the fact that it should be in the top nav, not hidden in a drop down. And once again, it's categorized for the type of services that they have. If you want to find reviews about that particular service, I think that's pretty clever. And then press and media. This is a page that Stephan.
So back to that reviews page for a second. So this is really important to not just link off to the reviews on Trustpilot or on, let's say, Google, in your Google business profile. If you pull the best testimonials and reviews from those sources, Yelp, etc., and then you feature those on your own website, one, you keep them on your site. Two, you editorially curate and decide which ones you're going to feature and where and how, so that you're putting your best foot forward. You're not changing the wording or anything. You're not doing anything unethical. You are curating and making it easy for people to stay on your site and get that social proof. And if they want, they can, of course, go to your Google business profile from there to verify that indeed those were the words written. But you have the star rating, you have the person's handle or username and their location if they've supplied it, etc. So all that information is there and in one place, and then you've categorized it according to the same categorization scheme, face, body, and wellness, that the blog and the services and everything are organized by. Really smart.
Thanks for unpacking that. Yeah, I tend to just skip over these things, but yeah, it's these things are a game changer when you really go to that level of detail. And yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Stephan. And now this is a page that you always recommend to help boost people or businesses' authority.
So we're now on the press page. So for our listener who's not watching your screen.
No, I was about to get to it, but yeah. So this is a press and media page. I just want to frame it as this is a page that Stephan recommends, right? And I often overlook this, but it's so important from the point of view of when a prospect comes to your website, if they go to this press and media page, they see that you've had TV appearances or article mentions on other authority websites, podcast appearances, wherever you've been on in the media. Essentially, they go to one page and they automatically think, oh wow, this is an authority, look at all the TV shows they've been on, etc. So yeah, it's often overlooked even by our team. So I just wanted to point out that yeah, this is really a Stephan idea and it works wonders. Not only just for finding clients, but for even finding opportunities with partners in your industry. It can be a great page for boosting your authority.
And TV producers, if you want to get on TV, they're going to look for your press page or your media page to make sure that you've been on TV before. They don't want you to be totally green, a newbie, and you're going to freeze on live camera, on live television, on their show. Yeah, right. Okay, awesome. Well, start really small then. A TV station in Podunk, Iowa or something, and yeah, only 5 people will be watching it. So the journalists will be checking out the press page. The folks who are going to consider you for podcasts, they're going to check out this page. This is a really important page, and don't bury it. Feature it. Make it easy to find in the top nav. Also, there are those logos as seen on. Repeat it again at the top of this page because we use that throughout the site as social proof. On all those other pages, they're clickable, leading to this page, not off the site to Vogue magazine or whatever, but to the press page. And then once you're on the press page, those logos are not clickable. They don't go anywhere because you're on the destination we want to keep you on. If you do want to verify that Quintessa was indeed mentioned in Vogue magazine, then you can click inside the article mention section on that article mention to go to the Vogue article. But we don't want to make the logos clickable at the top of this press page. So that's the only place where they're not clickable. Everywhere else, you should send them. They should not generate rage clicks. They should send the user to the press page.
To the press page, exactly, not off to the external website at that point. Yeah. Nice one. But yeah, very powerful page, often overlooked. I just wanted to mention as well, we do have a lead magnet on this website, and it is an exit pop, and it's popped up here. And I just want to mention that we didn't design it with so many forms, and I would only recommend first name and email at the most for a lead magnet most of the time. Okay. Look, they're probably doing this to qualify people with asking for phone number, date of birth as well. Even last names, not really necessary for a lead magnet. Yeah, that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts on that, Stephen?
I agree. I mean, if you really need that additional information, then ask for it on a second screen. So if you get just the first bits of information that will put them on your email list, you have their first name so you can greet them properly in your email so they'll open and read your email. And of course, the email address, those are the two only required fields. And you can leave off all the other fields, ask on a second screen what you need to know for the additional information. And then if they don't provide that, you still got them. But if they do, then you have this additional information as well, so you can further target them.
That's right. Yeah, we often do that. By the way, if we think back to their schedule a consult form, we often do a two-step form when you ask so many questions for the exact same reason. Ask for first name and email. If they abandon, don't fill out the rest of the questions later. You can just auto follow up with them if you have good email marketing software. But yeah, okay.
So I'm really not a fan of asking for date of birth on a lead magnet opt-in. I think it's pretty intrusive, so I wouldn't recommend it. But that's that's what they have there. Now you do something really clever with the privacy policy link, because you always want to have a privacy policy link and mention that you abide by that privacy policy anytime you have a form or a pop-up with an invitation to fill out a form. So what do you do differently there that some folks get wrong?
So obviously, you need a privacy policy on your website, like as an individual page. That's a must, right? But apart from that, when you do ask for people's information, they want to know what they're opting in for. So we put a privacy policy link under every opt-in form, but when pressed, instead of taking them off to a privacy policy page where they'll probably never come back or even see the lead magnet again, we just have that privacy policy link generate a pop-up on top of the pop-up so you can read the actual privacy policy right there. Then you close it and you're still on the pop-up where you can opt in. So it's just a better conversion tactic to just do that approach instead of send them off to a privacy policy page.
Yep, really smart.
Yeah, cool. And then also we did design an actual lead magnet opt-in page. This is just the design, but I don't know where the actual page is on their website. So this is just a placeholder for now. But yeah, we did one for a comprehensive guide to surgical beauty transformations and another one to non-surgical transformation. Yeah, so just thought I'd mention that. You can.
So why would you have, in addition to a pop-up, why would you also have a landing page for a particular lead magnet?
Great question. Because if you're sending paid traffic to the website, they're not going to see that lead magnet. Maybe, right? So this is a really good strategy for if you have a good funnel off the back of this, and we do, or we did when we set it up. It's really a good chance to build trust in your brand, and then when they go to the thank you page, you have a face to camera video that talks through. Let's see if I've got one here. Maybe not. It's just the designs, but anyway, the point is it talks through, basically what they're going to get out of the lead magnet and just thanks them and then just invites them to the next step, and it builds trust in their brand. And you just explain what they can expect if they do take the next step, which in this case would be to book a strategy, an appointment. So it's really powerful if you send paid traffic to a lead magnet. It's cheaper than sending them to a homepage or a services page. You'll find your cost per lead is cheaper. But then also, it's just people generally speaking, asking for their first name and email. And if you do that, then you can just build trust in your brand. Even if they don't take the next step, you can build trust in your brand by having a nurture campaign, an email nurture campaign. And that's super powerful because that's a long game. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Okay, and then they just have a couple other pages for people that aren't quite ready, or if they have a friend, they can just send them a gift card. And I think that's great for this type of service. You know, you can just purchase a gift card. So I think that's really cool. And then one other page that I want to show.
So why would you have a gift card for, let's say, a plastic surgeon? Because that might be a $10,000 procedure, but in this case, they also have other things besides that. So you want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, they do. They have products. They have, various aftercare. I guess, I don't know, maybe they have a whole range of before care and preventative measures and all sorts of things. But yeah, I assume they have a lot of lower ticket items. But I think also, if you think about, even if it is an expensive service, by just having this on their page, and if somebody does think, oh well, I might even buy a gift card for someone like I care about, and it may not be the full amount of their service, it might be $100, but at least it's planted a seed of them potentially purchasing this service later on. So I think it's a pretty smart idea for whichever way you look.
And they do have wellness services like IV therapy and different kinds of injections and stuff. So this is useful for that kind of service. But also, I agree with you that if somebody gives a gift towards somebody's procedure, like $100 or $500, it's much more likely that the whole procedure is going to get paid for by the recipient.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's a smart idea. It was their idea. We just, redesigned the page. Another clever page, their idea is obviously it is an expensive service to get, plastic surgery done and cosmetic surgery, I think it's called these days. But so they have this page where they have a concierge service and they will fly people across the country, right? And that's what this page is all about. So they're just getting people to, pretty much apply for that essentially. And yeah, I think it's smart, I think, this is one way to get people from wherever they are in the country, in the US.
Yeah, because they do have people that come from all over for their services because they are well known and well respected.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And that's it. And just lastly, this is a page that we put a lot of effort into, believe it or not. It's called a 404 page. Now, if anybody of most websites will have dead links or pages that used to exist and don't anymore. And so when that happens, what happens is you essentially sending them to what's called a 404 page, right? So what we do on a 404 page for any broken link page is we design it with something that's relevant to the brand, just a nice big 404. But yeah, we put an image that's relevant to the brand. Sometimes we get really cheeky with this. Just depends on the mood of the designer on the day. But then underneath, we just have a little, what are you searching for? We just have a search box and we get them back on track essentially. Then underneath that, we have a link to all of their services. So it's a really helpful 404 page. We have social proof and then the footer as well. So this is generally the structure we put on a 404 page. Sometimes we'll even put a lead magnet at the bottom of this page. But yeah, it's an overlooked page and it's a really powerful page because, it saves people getting frustrated when they do, end up on a 404 page that's broken.
Yeah, and it's not your fault a lot of times that people end up on a page like that. A webmaster linking to your site might make a typo when they wanted to link to a particular page, and it ends up on a 404, and that could be an ugly default 404 error page, or it could be a really elegant and conversion optimized 404 like this one.
Yeah, totally. So that's the review. Now, Stephan, do you want to have a look at the results?
Yeah. Let's just look at. There's a case study write-up that we put together for my site, for stephanspencer.com, and for the agency website, notconcepts.com, so we can pull up that draft, and there's some results in there. And then also let's pull up SEMrush. Maybe we start with SEMrush because that's publicly available data if you have a SEMrush account. And you can see the organic traffic. So check this out. Look at that organic traffic trend. So we don't claim credit for the years in the past, like 2018, 19, 20, et cetera. But in 2024 timeframe, there was a really nice uptick, and that was us. So we did some really good work there. And if you scroll down to the organic keywords graph, you'll see also an up and to the right graph that pretty much mirrors the organic traffic trend. And so you can see that when you rank for more keywords, you get more traffic. So you want to measure and track whether you're ranking in the top 3 positions, if you have SERP features, search engine results page features, like you mentioned, and things like AI overviews and image one boxes and people also ask boxes, etc., like that. And then if you're elsewhere on page 1, positions 4 to 10, etc., you can tick all these boxes to see how many keywords you have in those various places, all the way up to first 100 positions.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So that's the power of investing in SEO, even today with AI. Like,
Well, it's not just SEO. It's also you have like this is why I bring you in so many in so many engagements is because there's not enough conversion optimization happening on the site, and it's not representative of the quality of the brand that we're working with. And this will help with getting more user engagement signals that Google pays attention to, like dwell time. So if people bail from the site immediately, so that immediate click in and then click out again is tracked by Google, because if somebody clicks on another search listing, the difference in time between them clicking on your listing and then them clicking on another listing, that dwell time is very highly correlated to user satisfaction. So if people do not immediately bail and then click on another listing, that looks really good to Google and the algorithm and makes you rank higher. And so your beautiful, amazing, conversion optimized website design work then improves the dwell time and other signals that help with SEO.
love it. That's why we work together so well, to get clients great results. But yeah, love it. But yeah, also with AI, we get found a lot in AI. We ask on every form, how did you first discover us? And a lot of people are selecting AI, ChatGPT, So this works for, Google and AI, LLMs. Yeah.
So this is a good format for your own case studies, you, the listener. If you have the problem or like the background kind of situation analysis, and then you have the solution, and then finally the results. That's the standard format for a case study. And those are so much more compelling and informative than just a testimonial quote. And so if we go down to the results section of this case study, you can see February 2024, when we started work, they had 6,131 keywords that they were ranking for. That rose in up to over 8,000 just a little over a year later. And organic traffic also doubled, and number of top 10 keywords doubled basically. So these sorts of stats are worth measuring because, as supposedly Peter Drucker said, but it was misattributed, quote, what gets measured gets managed. And if you don't measure it, who knows? Like the stuff that you're doing, what's moving the needle and what's not moving the needle.
Exactly. Yeah, and we're both very results focused. At the end of the day, it's our reputation on the line. So yeah, this is what we live for, getting clients great results, which is why we're bringing this case study to you to show you that it's worth the effort for sure. And yeah, you too can get great results like this if you invest in your website. But yeah.
Yeah, like if so we got them to rank very highly for, as an example, breast augmentation Wisconsin. But if the site that the person ends up on from that high-ranking listing is poorly optimized from a conversion standpoint, it doesn't look high-end and elegant to match the ethos and the values and the experience of your brand, then there's this mismatch, and there's user dissatisfaction, and then they bail, and then your dwell time is terrible. So yeah, you got to address both sides of the equation, the SEO and the conversion slash usability slash, classy design.
Yeah, totally. Cool. All right, ready for some key takeaways?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, I'm just going to say, like, don't be like Apple. Don't try to be like Apple because you don't have the brand authority that they do. So simplicity doesn't work that well. So you need more. You need to be. You need to have clarity over trying to be too clever. Okay, so short little bits of copy, it just won't cut it these days when you're trying to compete with your competitors. And so people come to your site and their site and they're trying to compare the two. So you need to let them know what's in it for them, what's unique about you. Okay, so that's number one. Two is just
So just to piggyback on that, some people like to use the term clean. Like, I want a clean design. And that's just another euphemism for sparse or simplistic. And like you said, Apple can get away with that, but you can't. It's not going to bode well for your rankings in Google. It's not going to give the clarity and the compelling value proposition for the first time visitor. So don't do that. Don't go for a clean. That doesn't like that. That's not helpful to the user. And I hear that term so much. Like, well, we just want a clean design. No, you don't. You want results.
exactly. And don't get us wrong, like we're all about beautiful design, but you've got to get the balance right. So it's clean, but a little bit dirty because it needs copy, and too much copy can make.
It's not clean, it's not dirty. It's just full of valuable content in a very organized kind of journey sort of way, buyer journey, and not just a mishmash. It's very well orchestrated, and everything there is done strategically.
Yeah, it is strategic. Exactly. Yeah. But some people just view copy as messy, dirty, because it's just, so much, to read. And they just want clean and clear space and all that. But it doesn't work as well as getting that balance right of a strategic design that's beautiful. And the other takeaway is really if you do have a high ticket item, your brand must match that price point. You don't want people to think that you're not as good as you actually are. So, just make sure the design represents.
Right, right. So like a garish pink or something would be a bad fit for a design like this.
Exactly, exactly. And make sure it appeals to your target market. Yeah, for that reason, Stephan. So, we understand a lot of their clientele are female, but not everybody is female. So, what we're really trying to do is position them as a trusted authority that can obviously deal with male and female. Yeah. Cool. So to me, they're the main takeaways, and have some sort of strategy to warm up leads, especially on an expensive service. To warm them up. If they're not ready to take action yet, have a lead magnet, have an exit pop, and potentially send paid traffic to a lead magnet as well to warm them up if they're not quite ready for this service.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Greg. Yet another successful and awesome case study. I think that makes, is it 5 now in the series? Maybe it's even 6. Anyways, if you haven't listened to the other case studies in the series, please do listen to them. Each one has so many gold nuggets, and they're all relevant to your business, not just to the industry that we are case studying. And each one is different. So let's give the locations for our listener to go to if they wanted to perhaps get your book, work with your company, your agency, and you have some great free resources. In addition to the book, you've got a bunch of great guides and downloadable PDFs on your site as well. So where do they go?
Thank you. So if you go to nextlevelwebsitedesign.com, you'll find there's a button there that has free resources for the book. Now, one thing that I'm really excited about is one of those free resources is an interactive AI author. So it's my entire book uploaded and then given it some parameters so that it can review your website, and you can ask it anything about the 5 key areas of my book and ask it to review your website, to review the design, review the copy, and it can help guide you with creating a high converting website. So it's pretty cool.
That is awesome. So how did you create that? What kind of AI tool did you use for that?
Just Chat GPT, a custom GPT in the paid account. Yeah, and it's really good. And look, we create a lot of custom GPTs for various roles in our business, but yeah, this one in particular we've just been finessing. So it's, yeah, like I said, it has the whole book, but then we have a whole bunch of parameters around it as well to really so people can get the most out of it. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah, nextlevelwebsitedesign.com, and yeah, check out the free resources. But yeah, the book is just
Yeah, but you also have your agency site, studio1design.com. The number one, not ONE, but just the number one.
thank you. Yeah, studio1design.com. Yeah, that's check it out a folio as well, because that's what people want to check out first, and then check. Think if we're a good fit, then by all means reach out. But yeah, reach out to netconcepts.com as well, Stephan's team, and yeah, have a look at the awesome work that they do.
Thank you. All right. Well, another great case study. Thank you, Greg, for coming back on the show. And I think we're going to do one more, and that might be the end of the series. So thanks again.
Pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you, listener. We'll catch you on the next episode. I'm your host, Stephan Spencer, signing off.